May the words of my mouth and meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strong rock and redeemer. Amen. So one morning this week, I woke up thinking of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why. I've never woken up thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles. But for some reason this week I did, and I woke up and I thought about their Super Bowl victory, believe it or not. And I thought about this unlikely team who had been in the basement of the NFL and not doing well, and suddenly they get turned around and a new coach and this new superstar quarterback, and things have turned around and they are on the rise, and soar Eagles soar, and there they go, and they come in this season, they're taking the NFL by storm, and then their star quarterback gets hurt. And you think everything is lost. And then Nick Foles comes in, the backup quarterback, and continues to lead them, and they're hanging on, and the hope is still alive, and the dream is still alive. And then they find themselves in the Super Bowl. Eagles are just going bananas. Philadelphia is on fire. And of course, they're in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. So if you're going to be in the Super Bowl, you need to be against the Patriots. Because if you win the Super Bowl and you don't beat the Patriots, you haven't really won the Super Bowl. So you got to beat the dynasty. You got to go and beat Goliath. You got to do it because that's what you got to get. You got to beat the Patriots. So it's against the Patriots. So Eagles fans are just like, this is our chance for victory. For victory. And they did it. So then they win, and soon the confetti falls, and there's rejoicing, and people pouring into the streets, and they're celebrating, and they're going bananas, and the party's begun. The victory is ours. We won. We got it. The team is on the field, and all the things are happening, and people are pouring down the Lombardi Trophy, MVP, all the things. But the celebration doesn't stop there. They go into the locker room, they pop champagne, they're doing what they do, they're hugging each other, going crazy, and weeping, and crying, and praying, and screaming, and that celebration doesn't stop. All night long in Philadelphia, all night long for the team, I'm sure they're celebrating the victory. It doesn't stop there. Then the team flies home, and there's thousands of people waiting at the airport to welcome home the victorious Eagles. The victors come. The victory is ours. It doesn't stop there. Then they go, they have a parade. I mean, the city comes to a standstill, and they block off streets, and hundreds of thousands of people pour in to watch the Eagles. The victory is ours. Here they come. Soar, Eagles, soar. The long-awaited drought, the Super Bowl victory, Philadelphia's Super Bowl champions. Fantastic. I know some of you Patriots fans go, that's enough of that story. We've got it right here. We've got it. That's enough. Kill it. We're done. Okay? The rest of the Eagles fans are young. Just keep going. Let's get it. But anyway, so that's how you celebrate. That's how you celebrate the victory. You just go crazy. The victory's out. So then, believe it or not, I went from there to like, well, how do we celebrate the victory? I mean, how do you celebrate a victory? Well, I thought about Easter. Easter morning, that's our victory day. That's our victory deal. So we celebrate the victory on Easter. Here we don't have confetti. We don't have a big parade downtown in Princeton and block off all the streets. But we come here, and on Easter Day, we're packed, and the victory's ours, and Christ is out of the tomb. And our procession on Easter Day is just more grand. And the anthems are just more glorious. And on Easter Day, the hymns are sung, they're just more robust, and everybody's singing. And even the biggest curmudgeon that never sings a hymn the whole year will sing something on Easter Day. Because they have to. It's Easter. So it's just more robust, we're alive, the victory's ours. Christ has won, we say. We got it. Hallelujah. Yeah. And I go, well, that's how we celebrate the victory. And then I stretch my hand and I go, well, but how did Jesus celebrate the victory? How did he celebrate the victory? Well, it wasn't like that. There wasn't any ticker-tape parade, no big celebration, no party. I mean, he came out of the tomb and like in the quiet of the morning, under the darkness, as the sun was rising hardly a peep, nobody even knew. Now, I was thinking about it, as I'm prone to do, and kind of let my mind wander a little bit, and I said, now, if we had been in control of the resurrection, Which you're going, God's going, and that's why you're not. That's why I leave it up to the Lord. But if we were running the resurrection, we would have gone completely Hollywood. We would have put it juxtaposed against Palm Sunday. And we would have had Jesus come down, this weak little scrawny little donkey that could barely hold him, and the palms had been all wilty. It wouldn't have been much. It had been kind of coming in, and this humble Lord is going to be defeated and crushed and come in and all this, and it's going to turn darkness and the betrayal and the death. It's going to look terrible. But then on Easter Day, we would have this camera shot on the tomb, and suddenly the heavens would have opened and trumpets would have blared, and the heavenly chorus would have said, Hallelujah! Christ is risen, and then there'd have been angels, big strong angels flying down, moving the stone aside, right? It'd have been all this glorious singing, and then kind of WWF wrestling, there would have been a light in the back, and there'd have been a silhouette of Jesus. You could have seen just a silhouette of Jesus. You can't see, and this light in the back shining on a new Jesus 2.0. The resurrected Jesus coming out. That's what he would have done. And Jesus would have come out bigger and bolder and more beautiful and stronger, coming out saying, the victory is mine. And then there wouldn't have been a donkey, there would have been a stallion. A big, strong, powerful stallion and a street of gold. And he'd have mounted the stallion, and there'd have been thousands of people in the heavenly chorus, and people there screaming, all hail to the King, the risen Lord, the victory is ours. And Christ would have been on the stallion, looking strong, looking bold, looking good, like a Lord should do, and resurrection saying, the victory is mine. That's how we would have done. And that's why we're not in charge. That's completely why we're not in charge. How did Jesus celebrate the victory? He came out more humble than before. He came out in the quiet and stillness of the morning when nobody was there. And somehow an angel by his side, they get the stone rolled away, and they wrap up the bandages that had prepared his body. And he sits there and takes a breath of life. And he steps back out. No fanfare, no trumpets, no stallion, no heavenly chorus, no light. He meets Mary. She can't believe it's him, doesn't even recognize him. Don't hold me yet, I have things to do, but go tell the others that I'm okay. I'm alive. Go tell them what you've seen. And from there they go tell it. And then later on the night, as we read last week, later in the night, one of the first things he does, he comes in, and we're all scared. We're hiding. We're hiding. We're hiding and scared, and he breaks into the room, just comes into our fear, into our anxiety, to our uncertainty, and says, I'm here. Peace be with you. Don't be afraid. If you need to touch my side or see my wounds, here they are. It's me. It's really me. It's really me. And then you know the story. You have this here in the lecture of the road to Emmaus, and he's walking along with two guys with him, and they don't recognize it's the Lord. He never says, by the way, it's the Lord. It's me. Let's celebrate. No. They just walk and talk. And somehow then they break bread together, and their eyes are open. They see it's the Lord. And they say, how can we not see him? And then today he comes across the disciples again, and there they are talking about what's happening, and they see this figure, and they think it's a ghost, and they're scared. And again he says, don't be afraid. It's not a ghost. It's me. It's me. See, do ghosts have flesh and bones? Do ghosts get hungry? Can I have something to eat? It's me, it's the Lord. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's how the Lord celebrates the victory. The Lord comes out and goes right back and meets us in our place of fear, and meets us in our anxiety, and meets us in our uncertainty, and meets us in the places where we think we see ghosts, and meets us as the world seems to be spinning. The Lord comes out and doesn't say, the victory is mine. The Lord comes out and says, don't be afraid. I'm here. You're not seeing a ghost, it's me. And remember all the things that I told you. What I want you to do now is I want you to take in what you're saying. I want you to take in this resurrection. I want you to take in my presence. Because how do we celebrate the victory? In close proximity with this resurrected Lord. See, we have a tendency to do what we do in the world when we celebrate a victory. We have these big parties and these feasts and confetti falls and these grand processions and our fantastic vestments and all the anthems and all the things. And then we build great cathedrals and pieces of art and statues. And we say, well, we celebrated the victory. I mean, St. Peter's in Rome is built to celebrate the victory. And St. Paul's Cathedral in London to celebrate the victory. And we build this church to celebrate the victory. We built one and then tore it down and built another and built this. And this wasn't big enough. And we expanded it more that our steeple wasn't tall enough. We had to have a taller steeple to celebrate the victory. So we added some more feet on the steeple. Well, see, we're celebrating the victory. Because that's what we do. But it's not what the Lord requires. I don't think it's what the Lord asks of us. Because ultimately, I think it's easier to build a cathedral or to build a church than it is to build our lives on true resurrection and hope and life. It's easier for us to do this than to really change our lives with Christ. It's easier for us to make a grand liturgical procession than to walk out the doors filled with the gospel and try to change the world. It's easier for us to sing hymns of praise and glory than to open our hearts in proclamation of the faith to those who are hurting and hungry and longing. I mean, it's so easy. Well, I shouldn't say so easy because they well, why repent then if it's so easy? But I mean, it's so much easier for me to stand here. And there are some days I feel like I'm an overweight, smoking, drinking cardiologist telling you to live a healthy life. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to follow Jesus. It's hard to follow Jesus. And how do we celebrate the victory? How do we celebrate Christ's resurrection? Humbly as our Lord. Not raising a fist and building another cathedral, but somehow in proximity with this one who was raised from the dead, in intimacy with this one who was raised from the dead, and seeing the wounds in his hands and his side, eating with him and drinking with him and sitting and listening to him and smelling him and feeling him and hearing the words, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And what I need you to do now, is to go out and give witness. Give witness to what you've seen. Give witness to the resurrection. Give witness to my hope and my love and my peace. So sisters and brothers, as we live in these days of the Easter tide, as we live in these days of the Easter season, we are not done celebrating the victory by a long shot. Easter Sunday was not our celebration of the victory. That was just the kickoff party. That was just the kickoff event. What we do now is really celebrate the victory. What we do now through word and deed, through walking from these doors in procession to proclaim God's good news, and allowing God to come into our hearts and change our hearts, and trying to build our lives in something that gives God glory, and allowing our words to proclaim something that shares God's good news, in listening to the concerns and cries of those who are hurting and reaching out in arms of love and acts of kindness to build up this broken and hurting world, for far too many people are seeing ghosts. And far too many people are still locking themselves away in fear. So sisters and brothers, let's celebrate the victory. Let us be these days in intimate closeness and proximity with our Lord Jesus Christ and listen to every word he says, for soon he will say, I must depart. And I entrust this good news, I entrust this victory to your hands. Please share with all those who we meet. That's how we live into the victory. In the name of the Father, and Son, and Holy Spirit.